because I was seeing where can I share the rights to with the speakers.
Okay, I give you the role of speaker.
Have you done it already?
You will maybe have, yes, just now, and you will maybe have to download something.
Yes.
Okay, just do it. And now you have also the role of organizer.
Okay, now I can share my screen.
Yes,
Is it sharing
exactly.
now?
Yes, yes. And
Okay.
also now you should be able to give the role of a speaker to the other speakers.
Let me see, where can I do it?
You click on the little check on the right, close to the name of the person.
Okay, make presenter.
Yes,
Is
yes,
it?
that's it.
Okay, okay. Then I will just open my presentation and get started with it. Give me a minute. Is it sharing?
Yes, at all?
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
I'll just check if we have already enough attendees. We have 24 attendees. Do you think we can start?
Yes.
Okay. So, good morning, everyone. Sorry for these first minutes. We were just with some difficulties. Um, My name is Vera Durão. I'm from Ceifacup in Portugal, and I would like to welcome you all to this webinar from the project UrbanWINS. It's our second webinar, and it will be about more sustainable and circular urban metabolism with participatory mechanisms. So we have already more than 24 participants online, and among them we have our key speakers that will talk about the implementation of the participatory mechanisms, and it is our pleasure to count on their experience to enrich this webinar. This webinar is being recorded, and we will have around 1.5 hours to listen to the presentations and also to address questions from the audience. The format will be that we listen to the presentations and you will be able to ask some questions after each presentation, especially after the first presentation, once the speaker will not be for the rest of the webinar. So if you have questions about the first presentation, please don't leave them to the end. Moreover, during the presentations, please feel free, if you want, to write down any questions you have in the chat tool. So if there are no further questions, I would like to introduce you to the context of this webinar. For those who don't know the UrbanWINS project yet. So UrbanWINS is a project funded by the European Union under the Research and Innovation Programme Horizon 2020, and it seeks to develop and test methods for design and implementation of eco-innovative strategic plans for waste prevention and management based on the concept of urban metabolism. So we see cities has an ecosystem with inputs and outputs, and with everything that happens within it. And then we understand there are no wastes really. So everything we have are resources that may be reused under this ecosystem, and in order to prevent the generation of waste for outside the city. The project is being implemented by a large consortium of 27 partners from 7 different European countries. It's a very heterogeneous consortium with cities, universities, research, technological centers, NGOs, etc. And this assures a diversity of point of view and assures the progress made are directly linked to the stakeholder engagement and the mutual learning processes, and that it will for sure contribute to the achievement of resource efficiency and waste management objectives under UrbanWINS project. The approach of the project is based in 3 steps. First, an in-depth analysis of the urban waste management strategies in 24 cities in 6 of the involved European countries. And this is based on this urban metabolism approach I told you about. Then we have the participation of stakeholders in urban agoras set in 8 pilot cities, and these agoras are both real, physical, and virtual ones. So one of the presentations we will have today is about how they connect. And for these agoras, the pilot cities, for the project, the pilot cities are Cremona, Torino, and 2 cities part of the metropolitan city of Rome in Italy. Sorry, there's a mistake there. We have Bucharest in Romania, Leiria in Portugal, and Manresa and Sabadell in Spain. Then the 3rd step is the development and testing of the sustainability and innovation related recommendations and instruments that will result from this project for the waste prevention and management in the cities or in the urban areas. Our program today will be this one that you already know. We are now welcoming and introducing you to the webinar. We will start with a presentation from Álvaro Cidrais about participatory methods and how participation leads to collaboration. Then we will have a presentation on the urban agoras by Professor Lia Vasconcelos. The city's experience with participatory methods within the project by one of the cities involved, by one of the pilot cities, by Joan Camprubi from Manresa City Council. And then we will, again, with one partner of the project, talk about supporting stakeholder engagement and the connection between the online and the physical agoras. As I told you, besides the short time after each presentation for some questions, we will also have some time in the end to discuss other questions that may arise from all the presentations except for the first one. So let me just also introduce a little bit Saifacup, which I am representing. It's a Portuguese non-profit cooperative that promotes consultancy, research and training in order to contribute to more sustainable development. And our team has already more than 10 years of experience participating in European funded projects and always related with resource management and waste management and prevention, mostly on prevention. And we are a partner of the UrbanWINS, continuing this work. So if there are no further questions, let me just see if there is something in the chat. Okay, I think there are no further questions for now. I would just then like to leave you our website and contacts. Please follow us on the Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. There's the hashtag of the project also. Tweet on it, say you are on the webinar, and talk about us. So if there are no further questions, I would like to pass the word to the first speaker. It's Álvaro Cidrais. He's a geographer and he's consultant and networking facilitator at several places, namely in the Social Territorial Innovation Lab of Lusíada University of Lisbon, and also in cooperative Rumo Social and Solidarity Cooperative. And he is a leader, manager, and catalyzer of employability networks and informal collaborative groups at Barreiro and Oeiras in the Lisbon metropolitan area. Dear Álvaro, I will now pass you the presentation rights.
Do you hear me or not? It's okay, the sound?
Yes, we can hear you perfectly. You should have got a message there, and maybe you have to download something, and then you will be able to share your presentation.
Yes, but I got a little problem, I see. Let me try. Can you see the presentation or not?
We are seeing your screen, but not the presentation yet.
Okay. And now?
Okay. Now we have, you can, okay.
Okay, very good. So I'll share some experiences in a testimonial way. Just this. I got some slides to share this. You had present me, Álvaro Cedrais, okay. So let's start this. Back to basics. If you want to talk about participation and collaboration, the first of all is to get something that others create and put the collaboration in the upper level, upper than citizen control, delegated power of Arnstein ladder of public participation. We have to think about this, and first of all, I have to thank this invitation to me to participate in this situation, and I will like to address a good morning for everyone, everywhere, very well. So let's talk about this. We can start our thinking about this with this slide, and then we have to remember that we are facing a new world with new and old challenges, technologies. We have always collaborated, but today we try to do it in a more systematic and integrated way. And we have some differences. The collaboration today is different. We are millions and millions all over the world with new technologies, with much more information, with much more power and distributed power. And now we have more anxiety because the way we're looking at our way of living and all the world. Do you hear me? Okay, it's okay, the sound or not?
Yes, it's perfect.
Okay. So we have to understand the collaboration in a new complex living, facing complex challenges. They are dynamic and chaotic, anarchic perhaps, organic, with multiple variables interconnected and multiple stakeholders, which can only be addressed, these challenges, in an approach of complex adaptive systems. When you act, you create a new each other's context, and we have to recreate a new proposal solution. It's a continuous but not linear process. So I don't know if you know this complex adaptive system model and kind of this. But I would like to remember that the system is not a linear and unique, singular way of looking and acting, and decision making, whatever. We need to look at these systems that continuously have a feedback, and we have to do and redo and react to everyone. And we got multiple players in the same level and multiple players in other levels. We have hierarchic systems, non-hierarchic systems, and everyone interacts with new technologies and older technologies, new ways of looking, and new and older ways of looking. So this creates a co-creative system, not a system, a linear system or something like that. And everyone has a new empowered, and that new empowered creates multiple perspectives about everything. So what's new? What's new? We have more complex, dynamic, and interdependent problems that we want to solve. But we can only do it if we are together, acting and articulated, and in a joy. If you want to create collaboration, you have to point every time this idea, a joyful way. So that can bring everyone to our process, our developing process. In all kind of situation, we want joy, fun, entertainment, and effectiveness. So the participation process have to create this way of feeling. We are linked and interdependent. We are more ambitious than ever. We are not satisfied with the participation. We want commitment. We don't like to have just a way of being together. It's something. When we talk about participation, we think about an action to defend a position. The collaboration is not that. Collaboration is a shared action and a shared decision to achieve a common goal. It requires moving from to a shared mutual purpose, and this kind of purpose is really important. This is a new learning development cycle, a process with a new attitude. We have collaboration is an attitude. We know the departed challenge. Every time we have intentions, and sometimes we know the intentions of each other. We need mutual respect, and we need to share expectations and ideas. So the collaboration is a process with co-decision, co-planning, co-elaboration, and co-evaluation. In this process, I care about helping you to achieve a joint goal that we can achieve without mutual effort and mutual assistance. So we got something more than you and I. We got we together. We create a mutual goal, and then we try to achieve that goal. So yes, we have to decide and miss. This is really important. Make mistakes is really important. Correct a mistake is really important, and miss together. So we get closer. These causes discoveries and learning, develop new skills, create new features, changes, make us stronger, and create a sense of us. Commit us and causes the continuous appropriation of the process. And if we don't have collaboration, leave the process, to leave a participation process. So, the key question for me, and I just sharing with you a testimonial way of thinking this, not more than this. And some ideas are arrived from informal group of collaborative approaches where we discovered that the key meaning, the key issue is facilitation. So we have a suite case full of techniques and facilitation tools, and we have to use them. We have each moment that is an opportunity for growth. Diversity of points of views and experiences and other things generates creativity, and we have to create the conditions, context that they can appear, that diversity, that point of views, and then our solution, creativity solution. This is a process of building trust with transparency and parity. Everyone is a person, not the status he got. The great challenge is to create an active system of a listing system. And the principle of humility to learn and change is one of the most important things that we have to create in this facilitation process. We can achieve variable geometries. The flexibility and is the standard. We don't have a unique answer, a unique response. We have a lot of situations, a lot of flexibility in all of this. And the interest, the individual interests are the energy of action. So we try to catch everything and put in a dynamic between the participants and create conditions to collaboration.
Sorry, Alvaro, the sound is not so good now. Maybe you can try to isolate.
Okay, now it's okay or not?
It's better, yes.
Yeah. So, okay. Another idea, important idea, is that we have no patterns. There is no single response pattern. The solutions are not linear and are always contextual. That depends on available emotions and relationships. And if you think that will be organized, systematic, no, it's not that. The collaboration process, we have to create some organizational patterns, but the process don't have a linear way of happening. Another important point is the immaterial resources, information, knowledge, organization, and relationship, determine the use of material resources. This is one of my most important understands of this. In this process, we have some constants, things that we can say, this is always present. The first thing is renegotiation of goals, perspectives, and resources all over the process. Another thing is a learning spiral, not a linear experience and learning, but a spiral. We got always a discontinuous change and a process that transforms the personal discomfort in a new kind of comfort. The short planning is better, but it will be guided by renegotiated purposes all over the process. We got mutual request and informal complicity all over the process. And it's crucial that we continue with the institutional commitments all over the process. Just like a final statement, I would like to say we know where we started and what purpose we have in the beginning, but we don't know where we will arrive. So let's negotiate along the way, not to be stimulated and surprised. So the process has to be fun. Only in this way do we remain committed. So let's dream, plan, act, and celebrate. This is the dragon dreaming way of looking at a project. And the achievements, the new conscious, and the new understandings are a new step to forward and have to be celebrated. So I think it's the most interesting I can say to you today. Thank you, and to forward, I think we get together. That's the main idea we have to retain in our minds. Get together. E is not E. E is a part of us, and let's create mistakes, create solutions, and create a cycle of improving and a cycle of learning in and a specific context. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for your presentation. Are there any questions about this presentation? So far, there are no questions on the chat. Okay. I think we can thank you for your availability and for your presentation. And you also left your contact. Ah, we have here a question. So I think it's how can we promote collaboration in practice? It's from Michael and Susanna. Álvaro?
Yes.
There is this question for you. How can we promote collaboration in practice?
How or who? When we start any problem, any situation can create a collaborative process. How can we promote that? First of all, listening what anyone wants to do, and who is the suffering, who is the problem he had. So this is the main idea, and then we start process, learning process, sharing ideas, sharing perhaps researches and doubts, and try to create an interaction, an empathic interaction between everyone to solve the problems together. It's difficult to say how can we do it. We have so many ways to create and develop the process that it's very difficult to respond. Who can start? Anyone. So it's difficult, and this is an attitude, and then a tool of techniques and to leadership, to create a way of being together and solve problems together. I cannot say more than this. Excuse me.
Okay. Are there any more questions?
Can I say something about this? Yes, the cooperation is a key word for managing the issues with the management of the waste and the municipal waste. Anyway, cooperation must start with the entities with the same problem, or regional, or national, or even at European level. It needs investment. You have to identify the partners. You have to have travels, and perhaps the best solution is to get an association with the same goals, and that allows you not only change experiences, but also to, as Albert said, to make the influence of the rules, of the laws, and of the standards. It's a path, it's a way that needs good specialists, committed people, and also some investment. But at the end, I think it's worth.
Okay, thank you, Fernand, for your intervention. I think we should go on to not to get too late. We have another question here from Federico Como about if it is possible linking environmental participative aims with suburb problems. I think this is more or less going to be discussed in the next presentations, because this first one was not so focused on environmental aspects. Federico, may we wait for the next presentations? And maybe we'll move on to the next one already. The next presentation is from Professor Lia Vasconcelos. She's a professor at the Department of Environmental Engineering of FCT New University of Lisbon, and she's a researcher at the Marine and Environmental Sciences Center, where she's responsible for the thematic line of policy and governance. So she focuses her research on innovative decision-making processes, namely in developing methodologies for engaging multi-stakeholders in these collaborative processes towards new forms of governance, in collaborative public policy, and in planning and environmental management. So I think this will answer this last question. And Professor Lia, I will now give you presentation rights.
Hello, everybody. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Everybody. Before getting to my presentation, that will be about urban agros, I would like to thank for the Álvaro Cidrais for such a great job in introducing us to these collaborative processes. And there are a couple of things that I will remind you from his presentation that you should have in mind when I'll be doing mine. One is what he said about when you act, you create new context. So it's an evolving process. I'll even say maybe it's circular participation. The other thing he mentioned was that participation creates a way of feeling, linking and interdependent, and the issue is getting to commitment. It's not just a way of being together, it's to be active. Collaboration is shared action. And then he defended that you need professional facilitation, and the issue was co-deciding, co-planning, co-collaborating, and so on. So this is really the starting point for my presentation, and I'll be now talking about urban agros. So here it is, we have a complex system and very uncertain. That's where we operate, particularly in environment, and we have to evolve from old formats of decision making to new formats. That's where we go from informing to consulting, and now we are in the phase of collaborating. Okay, we need to have dialogue, we need to have active engagement, but how to get there? I'm having trouble moving from one slide to the other. Now, okay, our society produces different types of capitals. One is the social, that is when you connect to each other, you make partnerships, you make networks. Political in the sense that a group can influence a decision. So as the group evolves, as the group gets more mature, can influence a decision. Intellectual in the sense of knowledge. And usually in our context, since we work very much in technical scientific arenas, is the technical scientific knowledge that we somehow promote the most. It has the most important role in the decision-making process. However, we have all the knowledge in our society that we frequently don't take advantage of. And collaborating allows us to take advantage of that knowledge. Why is that important? Because if you can construct social, political, and intellectual knowledge, you are also transforming institutions. It's a way to create institutional capacity. So the objective should be to potentiate and articulate diversified capitals of society, social, intellectual, and political, intensify the flux of knowledge to generate value added and take advantage of the knowledge that exists already in our society, and this will lead us to social transformation. This is not done without some conceptual background, some conceptual basis that is connected to creating genuine dialogue, focus on interest, active listening, equally informed. It's a theoretical anchor that somehow supports us in these developments. This conceptual anchor is mostly concentrated on creating space of dialogue, genuine dialogue, allow people to debate issues, challenge assumptions, and in that way construct actions, strategies, and proposals. This goes and somehow goes to Habermas, the theory of communicative action, Paulo Freire, emancipatory learnings, and communities of practice, because that's what we are trying to construct with the groups we are working on in collaboration. Why are people important in the process? People bring knowledge, they learn also about the process, they appropriate of the process, they build common understanding, they defend the project, and things are easier. Not only it contributes to better decisions, but it also contributes to the implementation phase and avoids conflict, or at least somehow ameliorate conflicts. So people and knowledge are the two keys for our operation in collaboration. People are the kernel of social transformation, and knowledge held by citizens, besides the technical scientific knowledge, is important to unleash, leading to added collective knowledge, building up new intellectual capital. So, how to make the most of knowledge in our society? There are, in these collaboration settings, they assume different types of names. They can be called deliberative democracy, open force, living labs, collective intelligence, but all of them somehow have the same purpose. They want to create new settings where the flux of knowledge can circulate, and in that way to lead to innovation and social transformation. Somehow in our society there are different types of participation and the different types of participation also lead to different types of results. So let's say that in some ways passive participation is already overcome, and we now are more focused in interaction and dialogue. Our aim is to build knowledge and to create settings for people to have genuine dialogue, to collaborate, and to come with new solutions. So this is what it is, our urban agras. Why are people important to the process? They are important to the process because they bring knowledge, they contribute. While doing that, the space is also a space for learning. They learn and get informed. And it's also an opportunity to know the rationale of the project, the difficulties and the restrictions. So they also get information about this, and ongoing knowledge is built. The other thing is they also build common understanding, they develop ownership of the project, they become an active part, and they tend to defend the project. So they are better chance for successful implementation and better chance for new innovative strategies. How to reach people, how to keep them in the project. This is the other questions that we need to answer. And there are several ways. There is not one recipe, but I'm just going through several results, several options that you can use to overcome the difficulties to reach people. One is to involve the communication cabinet of the municipality. We are talking about municipality, we are talking about waste management, so it's important that this whole process is in the city website. You should take advantage of the social networks and take advantage of the cultural agenda of the municipality. The other thing is use intensively all the media, local, regional, national. As much as you can diffuse your project, the better chances people get involved, they understand what's going on, and they collaborate. Take also advantage of already built social networks, such as Facebook, blogs, and so on. Use all public activities of the municipality to diffuse the project. Have at least a poster, flyers, news of the project, dates of the events. And for these dates of the events, it is quite important that you diffuse them well in advance so that people can register in the agendas. Use also your personal networks, informal chatting to explain people what's going on so that you can inform about the project, it's relevant, what it's doing, stressing the importance of it for the municipality, and also explaining what the roles can be of each one you are talking to. The other thing is take advantage of key local actors. There are people that are opinion makers, they are leaders, local leaders, and they are very important to be used to spread information and engage in these reports. Diffuse information of the ongoing results of the project in public meetings, in events, and also in the media. Also, to keep them in the process, assure that the results of the project activities have a wider diffusion, so people know when they contribute, how these contributions are being used. Have an active site, and you can have even a phone of the project. This, one of our projects, we had a phone. People, when they were the agros, they could call, know where the agros were going to be, what was going to be discussed in that session, what could be the role of the person, and so on. And identify a member of the team to be the face of the project. The other tailor-made solution in strategy. Different stakeholders require different strategies. More formal entities probably need to have a format of participation that will be quite different. It will be, for example, a meeting, but it's a closed meeting, that will be quite different from the public in general. Assure that everybody receives invitations, either formal or not, by email or letter or through meetings. And assure that you build a collective agenda with the stockholders, with the local participants. This is quite important because frequently when we create participatory process, people tend to create an agenda that is the agenda of the arenas, technical scientific arenas. It is important to create the collective agenda because probably a citizen wants a different issue to be discussed than someone that is in the technical team. Define what are the physical agros session team and define what are the important stakeholders to be there and be sure that they are there. And the collective agenda should be a merge of the technical agenda and the stakeholders issue so that everybody somehow is clarified during this process. So about the role of stakeholders, they have to become an active part. They should attend the Urban Agro session, and for that it is important to define what is the schedule of these Urban Agros. And one of the things that we have perceived along the years is if it's just for the technical scientific community, maybe the working hours are the best time. But if they are for the remaining of the participants, like the citizen, you probably should have the Urban Agros after the working hours. So all this has to be sought in advance. Get involved in data, get people involved in data collection, and promote the contribution of them, ideas, strategies, action, direct involvement, debate issues to come up with conclusions. Each city is different. There is no specific recipe, but take advantage of the activity that you can generate. And most of all, the key is co-construct, 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 and have all that are interested involved. Just for you to know what we have been doing in Urban Agros, this is a very complex process, and we have several phases, 8 phases. The first one was mostly to define the priorities, then we had a deficit analysis, then a SWOT analysis and action tools. We hierarchized the actions with everybody in the Urban Agros. We defined pilot actions, and we'll be doing the evaluation of the plan and the evaluation of the implementation also in the Urban Agros. Here are some of the ongoing agros. These ones are some pictures from Bucharest, Mareza, Leiria, and Tunisia. And here are Cremona, Albano, Laziale, Torino, and Sabadell. And thank you very much. I'm open for questions.
Okay. Are there any questions about this presentation? I think, Professor Leah, that maybe you're the best person to answer Federico Cuomo about if it's possible to link environmental participative aims with suburb programs.
Hello. Hello.
Can you
yes.
repeat?
Can you hear me? Maybe it's for answer Federico about the linking of social aspects and if I can.
Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Yes, Professor.
No, it's not a question. It's related to the question that Federico said to us.
Okay.
I wanted to answer with my view.
Okay.
Well, Federico, hello. I'm Jose Spi from CTM. In the UrbanWINS project, we have been developing a model that is based in a methodology, the deficit methodology, of the driving forces, pressures, state impact, and responses that more or less are related with the waste management issues, and in that methodology are analyzed both environmental and social approach. And regarding the question that you said about the suburbs and the social context of these suburbs, the answer is yes. In that respect, for example, circumstances like the cultural origin of people, socioeconomic status, etc. We know, and we have been in the development of that model, having different meetings with people in charge of the different municipalities, with Manresa and Sabadell by proximity because we are in Catalonia. And the answer is yes, but the problem is that it's not really clear why, for example, a specific waste management element or waste management technique or different kinds of recovery runs so good in a suburb that, for example, has an upgrading a high socioeconomic status, and in other one doesn't run good, and because that effects are completely opposite. It depends on the region, for example. At the end, the conclusion is we know that obviously that affects the different strategies, but it's not clear the reasons for that. In that context, for example, we have identified some determinants like the industrialization, governance, the cultural barriers, the environmental impact, and the human behavior of people. But it's really difficult to understand why in some regions is good. For example, a door-to-door collection system is okay, but in others, no. Okay. I don't know exactly if I have answered to your question, but more or less is that.
Okay. I understood the issue. Okay. When we are working in small-scale towns, we are working with a group of participants. They may not be the key stakeholders for some of the issues. Let's say we want to involve all the stakeholders to have a diversified points of view, correct? But when we talk about the diversification of stakeholders, we probably need also to diversify them in terms of in socioeconomic geographical terms. You know what I mean? If you don't have, and probably there are actions that are of interest and they are focused in the central area and they are important and they are relevant for that central area, but they may not be applicable or they may not be the correct ones for an area that is more larger scale or higher income and so on. So for that, you have to know your town and you have to decide if you have also to identify the geographical areas to define the strategies according to the geographical areas. And for that, you have to have the stakeholders from those areas too. See what I mean? It's a very complex project and it has a multi-level decisions and multi-areas. And so a decision could be good for a central area, and you have more people participating that are from that central area, but you are missing people from the suburbs in a high socioeconomic area. So the strategy will work to the ones that are participating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Is it this clear? Does this answer what you were looking for?
I think so, yes. I think it was very interesting, this discussion. Any more questions? Maybe we should go on. Thank you, Professor Leah, for your very interesting presentation. Thank you for the participation of José. I think Federico is clear now, and we should move on to the next presentation. It will be about the city's experience with participatory methods, and it's done by Joan Espel from the Manresa City Council. Joan holds a degree in environmental sciences and a master degree on interdisciplinary studies in environmental, economic, and social sustainability. And he has been working since 2016 as an officer of the municipal services of Manresa, and he is managing the UrbanWINS project within the city council. So, Joan, can you share your screen? I will pass you the words now.
Thank you, Vera. Could you hear me well? Okay. Good morning. Could you hear me well? So I'm going to speak about my recent experience with participatory methods. In this presentation, I'm going to first define the context, then I'm going to explain the experience that the municipality have in participation process. Next, I'm going to talk about UrbanWINS participatory process. And finally, I'm going to analyze opportunities and challenges that to it with. About Manresa, Manresa is a middle-sized town located about an hour from Barcelona. We are in the center of Catalonia, and we have over an influence area of over 250 inhabitants. Our economy is based on industrial sector, especially on metallurgy. Manresa is a very dynamic city with a lot of festivities and active society, very active and engagement with different things. About participatory experience, our experience is quite long. We've been working with the local land use plan, which is a very complex process that lasts for 7 years, more or less. And however, we also work in some sectorial planning, housing, youth, equality, old age, and this planning has been done by a participatory process with the citizenship. But our ongoing projects are more quite relevant. The most important is the participatory budget, which has been done since 2015, and this process is really interesting because citizens propose to the municipality some projects. Project is a budget over 1,500 euros, and then the citizen can enter the proposal is analyzed by the municipality, and some proposals are voted by the citizens, and these more or less other ongoing projects are the district councils, which the city has four district councils, and these councils debate about current issues, about the streets, and some initiatives that would be interesting. Also, it's interesting to speak about the childhood council. And nowadays we are reviewing the participation process, how citizens participate. About those uses on the municipality, there's this online voting technology that has developed the participatory budget and has around 6,000 participants. Then we make some groups debates in tables in the session. We put some people to talk together, different groups. Corner job is another methodology that consists on working together in groups. It's really similar to group debate. And then we have the future vision. The future vision consists on imagine how will be the city, how the citizens want the city will be in maybe 20 years, and then think about how to reach this objective, this goal. About UrbanWINS participatory project has been designed by FCT Nova, with collaboration with Leah and the rest of the team, and it's divided in 4 phases. But only 2 phases have been done until now. These phases were transformed in 4-hour events, and we have a great number of participants from different sectors. It's important to mention that these participants come from a previous stakeholder map, and then were recruited were conducted by the municipality. We have two community activators who yes the participatory process. And now I'm going to explain a little bit how it works every Agora event. Could you hear me well? I have the feeling that I couldn't hear. You could not hear me? Something happened. Well, I'm going to continue. In the first Agora event, there was a participatory methodology that was proposed by FCT and consists on giving the welcome, making a buffer activity. But this buffer activity, from our point of view, was quite difficult that citizens start interacting in this activity. Then we made a group work that consists on filling this template. That was a simplified slot, simplified squad, consisting on writing a priority, explaining that priority, and telling what's the objective, and how to get there, and how to involve, who to involve. Then we collect the ideas. All the ideas were collected inside the event, the space, and we vote the different proposals, and then the proposal was developed. Then, in the next meeting, we made previous to the meeting some internal work to prepare and validate the proposals and the information that citizens give, because the information may sometimes is quite disorganized, and we organize it and present in a good way to the citizens. We make our world dynamic fair dynamic with a world group. From this participatory methodology, the one action came out, which were grouped in 5 priorities. And every action was in this template, which explains the name, the description, which urban flows were affected, the type of way, and other information relevant to the action development. Finally, we made the other Agora event, the last event that was some days ago. We analyzed the actions that have been developed by the citizens using the SWOT analysis. Then, but with another previous work of organizing the actions, because from the Agora event, some actions were more or less the same. So we decided to organize, and put in a good framework for to be analyzed. This Agora was a really positive experience, and now we have plenty of information coming from the participatory process, and we are really happy to have it. And this information will be used in the next steps of UrbanWINS. Here I show you some pictures about the Agora event. This picture in the bottom is the first Agora event in where we come with the presence of the mayor and some deputy mayors. And the other ones are from the last Agora event, and in which you could see citizens and participants working in the SWOT analysis. From the point of view of the municipality, this UrbanWINS participatory process is a really different participatory process, because we use new methodologies, and this gives us the opportunity to go deep in very specific topics with the collaboration of a wide range of stakeholders who have lots of knowledge that is really useful for us. This wider perspective comes because the stakeholders come from other technical departments that work on waste, that have a different view, from companies directly implied in waste management, from architects, people from education sector, from trade, and also from communication. Also, this bottom-up process, which is really interesting for us to have the feedback from the citizens, who are the end users of our waste management systems, and gives the society the opportunity to be engaged in some relevant aspects of the public services. However, this participatory process gives some challenge, and the main challenge is the low participations that we have overcome with the management of the stakeholders. We have in Manresa, it's not a really big city. We have a limited number of stakeholders that could participate to the Agora events. But however, these stakeholders also participate in other issues that municipality has. So we have to think that the stakeholders have a limited time and have a limited number. So another issue was that we contact via email with the stakeholders, but we have to contact them by phone and asking them to come, because if we don't go and speak with them and say that it's really important for us that they be in the Agora event, only using email and social network sites and press release is not enough to engage citizens and stakeholders. You need to call them and say that they have to be in urban Agora because it's really important for us and for them. You need this communication and persuasion with them. Also, another challenge is that the process is slow, because you have to make the event, analyze the data, make some meetings with the team. It's a slow process. Another issue is the epistemological barriers. So our stakeholder profile is a very defined stakeholder profile. We have professionals related with waste management, or architects. We have citizens with a high level of education and really interested in waste management. The majority of them works in issues related with companies who provide service to the municipality, or other activities that have a strong relation with waste management and public sector. In the first Agora's events, more citizens appeared and they complained to us that it was really, really difficult for them to understand the participatory process and to speak with the others about waste. Because from my personal point of view, this participatory is to really focus. It's not easy for the citizenship, and some collectives could be outside because the difficulties of UrbanWINS and topics. Other challenge is to manage lobbies and groups of interest. And another important thing is that we have to make lots of internal work, like an urban Agora inside the municipality to prepare the Agora event with the citizens. Finally, the last challenge was the lack of experience in participatory process for the team. So for the environment department, it was the first time that we entered being participatory in a participatory process with kids. It's a big participatory process. But finally, as a conclusion, I think that opportunities that give being engaged in this type of participatory process are higher than challenge, because starting a new project is always difficult, and now we are in the half of the way, and we are really interested on going forward and being part of this project. So it's all for me. So you have some doubts and questions?
Thank you. Thank you, dear Joan. We had one question here on the chat, but I think it was answered in the last part of your presentation because it was about the challenges that you explained very well. And it's interesting to see how it works in practice and how difficult it sometimes is to bring people on board. I think that should have been one of the greatest challenges. I would like to ask if anyone else has questions for Joan about this experience in Manresa. Any questions? Okay, we are a bit late, so I will pass right away to the last presentation. Last but not the least, we have the presentation of Gabriela Mindru from Romania Green Building Council, and she will talk about supporting stakeholder engagement by connecting online communities with face-to-face workshops. So what we are doing in the project in trying to connect the physical and the online agoras. So Gabriela is part of the team that has developed the online agoras within the project and is now working on connecting it to the face-to-face agoras. And she has some experience from being involved in several projects involving community development and organization, public participation and civic engagement in rural areas in Romania and in a peripheral neighborhood in Bucharest. So, Gabriela, I will.
Can you hear me?
I will now pass you the rights of presentation. So, in a minute, you should be able to share. Okay, we are seeing your screen already. Thank you.
Thanks for the introduction. I hope you can all hear me. So yes, I'm going to talk about this online Agora, a tool that we are using to engage more stakeholders than we can during the physical or the face-to-face Agoras. This is how the online Agora looks like. It's a little bit similar to a social platform like Facebook. So it's kind of a complex tool, and because it's complex, it's also a little bit more challenging to use it in order to get the results and the participation we expected. So as you can see, it's a community where people can do lots of stuff. There's a menu here on top, and I'll explain better here. So we have groups that are language-based for people from the same pilot city to communicate on topics related to their city. We have groups that are based on a certain waste theme, like, I don't know, construction and demolition waste or other types of waste. We have sections that are dedicated to pilot cities and what happens in each of them during the project. We have a section for documents where we post the city reports, that is the results that come out from the physical events, and anyone can read them and give feedback on them after the event has ended. And we also have an option to create polls and ask questions to the stakeholders that join the platform. So we have several instruments to engage them. I think what it's important is to have really clear in mind what we want from the stakeholders, what questions are we asking them, on what things do we want their feedback on, and things get easier from there. What we did to connect the online Agora with the physical workshops. First, before launching the online Agora, we developed a toolkit for the first users, which are the partners of the project, so that they could create relevant initial content that stakeholders could comment on or engage with. And after we launched the online Agora and we also started the face-to-face workshops, we developed a checklist to connect the two. And basically each municipality was advised to create events on the online Agora that announced the physical event, and also use the functionalities of the platform to invite either users on the platform to join the event, or just add email addresses of the stakeholders they wanted to invite, and just add them in the event in the online Agora, so that they could on the other one hand learn about the physical event, and on the other hand learn about the online Agora and maybe create a profile and then engage later. We also talked about the online Agora at the beginning of each physical event and invited the participants to join. We also offered support at the event for those participants that wanted to join but didn't really know how to. After the events were closed, we posted the pictures and videos we created there on the online Agora, as well as the reports I mentioned earlier with what was discussed and concluded at the physical events. We posted them on the online Agora. And we also sent follow-up emails to all participants, directing them to the online Agora, and also giving links to the reports that were uploaded online, so that we stimulate them to visit the online platform. This is what we have done so far, but we are currently analyzing other ways to improve the engagement of stakeholders online, because there's limited opportunity for them to participate in the face-to-face events. And some of the things we have been thinking of and we'll try to consider in the next period. I think it's important to make it a little bit more clear and clear what exactly we expect from the stakeholders, what exact information, what feedback on what specific things, so that it's easier for them to give an answer and contribute. Also clearly state what exactly can be influenced by them and what is not negotiable or not open for discussion. Also ask, I don't know, contribution for specific parts of plan of the strategic or local plan we are working on, or ask them very specific questions about certain topics we need feedback on. Also, I think it's really important, and I think we had all pilot cities have some challenges with this. I think stakeholders want to know they are really listened to, and that the municipality that is asking for their contribution is actually reading and taking into account their feedback and incorporating it in their work, or if they are not incorporating it, at least explaining why this is not possible, and kind of try to explain how is their contribution important, and what are the limitations of this process. And I think the involvement of the municipalities in the online Agora is as important as it is in the physical Agora, if we really want people to come and use these online instruments. So it would be great if the municipalities would post, I don't know, more content, and also responsive content that kind of follows up with the questions that stakeholders are asking, or extra information they need. We also noticed that stakeholders that did want to engage felt the need to have access to more data about the specific topic of waste management, and of, I don't know, information, statistics about waste in our city, for example, and they kind of had a hard time finding it, and it would be great if this would be provided on this online platform, and in general to kind of bring more information in the same place, and then ask people to really have an informed contribution. And one other thing, so we get feedback at the physical agoras. We get some feedback on the online agora, and I think it's maybe challenging sometimes to integrate both sources of contribution and include them in the plans we are actually working on. So I think this could deserve a little bit more attention. That's the most important things I wanted to share with you. But if you have questions, I'm here to answer them.
Thank you so much, Gabriela.
You're welcome.
Are there any questions about this online engagement and the relation between the online and physical hours? From the audience, from other speakers, any questions, any comments? Okay, I think you were so clear, Gabriela, that there are no further questions for now. Anyway, we will make the presentations and the recording of the webinar available online. It will be on the site of the project, on the activities, webinars pages. So the contacts will also be on the presentations, and you can always feel free to contact us back and put every question you want. And also, as I showed you in the beginning of this webinar, you can also follow us in the social media and subscribe to our newsletter, and you will always be up to date with our information.
You can, of course, join the online Agora.
Yeah.
Yeah. For any questions. Sorry.
Okay. We have here one question from André Batalhão on the chat. He's asking, what is the rate of return of the questions online?
Yes. Yes. We used this functionality only for the first face-to-face Agora. Like when people were in the meeting, we also asked this question online, and we had, I don't know, maybe a few tens of replies to the question.
Okay.
Not that much, but there were some people that were online, and even if they didn't reply immediately in the course of that day, there were a few more replies to the questions.
Okay, so that's also one of the challenges from what you said, to get people involved really in an effective way, right?
Yes, I think they need to know clearly why they are on the platform and how exactly they can contribute and make this more straightforward than it's probably right now.
And seeing the return from the governance point of view, probably.
I don't think I understood this question.
I was saying that it's important to get people on board. It's also important for them to feel there is a return to their questions. So what you were talking about, being responsive.
Yeah, that somebody reading what they are writing, or somebody is taking into account their response, opinion, and integrated in, or yeah, integrated in a plan, or if not integrating it, then at least explain why this is not possible. Or
yeah. Okay. So André Batalhão is again asking if you have an approximate rate. Like, does this return rate reaches 20%? Literature points between 50 and 20% from what he's saying.
I haven't calculated a rate. I don't know exactly how we could do this.
Okay.
I mean, if it's the percentage of people that responded out of the total number of people that are users of the platform, or how exactly?
Yes,
I don't think it's 20%.
It's not 20%?
No, it's probably less.
Okay, maybe closer to 15. Okay.
I'll check. Actually, I really.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Gabriela. Are there any more questions about this or the other presentations, about this participative approach, about this implementation within the project? I think there are no further questions for now. Anyway, as I told you, we will be available for your questions at any time. And I would like to thank very much our excellent speakers for being available and for enriching this event and for enlightening us about how these participatory approaches and methods work. I would like to thank the audience for being here, for also enriching our projects, and thank you in advance for your participation in our social media, in following our project and contributing to it. And I think we can then close the webinar. Although we were a little late, we can now close on time. Okay, so thank you all and see you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good afternoon.
Bye. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Thank you so much, Vera. Have a nice
Thank you. Thank you all also.
Vera?
Yes.
Do you think I am Isabel? Yes. Do you think I can stop the registration now?
Yes, I think so. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I will convert it and try to send it. I don't know if I can send it directly by email or maybe through with transfer or something like this. It is fine for you?
Okay. Okay. You will send it today?
I don't know the time it will be needed to convert it, but yes, if I can, also today.
Okay, it's okay anyway.
Okay.
Thank you.
Perfect. You are really welcome.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Have a nice weekend.
For you.